on 2 is hitting the road for a zip trip to Danville.
When you look at this downtown, and we're the envy of a lot of cities in California because we have such a cute downtown.
We're live in downtown Danville, showing you all this East Bay town has to offer, including a booming restaurant scene.
There are restaurants everywhere. In fact, we've had more open since the pandemic, and we're actually going to be opening a vegan restaurant just 1 block down the street here. I'm very looking forward to that.
And you'll hear from a Danville native who is headed for his first year in the NFL after being drafted by the New Orleans Saints.
The place I grew up, and I got to experience a lot of great childhood memories, so it's special, it's emotional, but I'm super glad to have this opportunity.
All that and a lot more as Mornings on 2 takes you on a zip trip to Danville. This party started early here in Danville. We have several dozen of this town's 43,000 residents. Hello and good morning, Danville.
Hello.
Wow. There we go, right outside the Danville Hotel right here on Harts Ave. You know it if you've been to the 4th of July parade here. You probably staked out a seat right along this way early in the morning. We have a packed hour for you, our third zip trip of the summer season. We are featuring the East Bay town of Danville, 18 square miles and a whole lot of fun and activity packed into that size.
You know, this is a fantastic small little town. It's got that community feel here when you are here in downtown Danville, and you can see the people behind us. They've been stopping by and talking to us all morning long. Grateful that we're here, and we're grateful to share this fantastic town with them as well. All right, so let's get things started here this morning. We've got Frank and Sal out on the scene checking things out. Let's start with Sal. He's at a classic car show. Sal, show us.
Hey guys, you know what? I didn't know, but every Friday here in the parking lot where the Bagel Street Cafe is here in Danville, these guys and gals just show up with their cars. I'm in a 57 Thunderbird. Look at this beauty. This is amazing. All right. So Chip is going to show us. I'm going to get out of this car as much as I hate to, but look at all these cars here. And they just show up every Friday, I'm told, just to hang out, have some coffee, and show off their cars. And what a great thing for a car guy like me to automatically, just to come in and see this by accident. So you can see that if you come to Danville, there's something for everyone. And if you're a car guy or gal, you should come to the parking lot where the Bagel Street Cafe is, and you will see your share of classic cars, even some of the newer cars they have here. Andre and Garcia, car people, be on notice. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is my colleague Frank Malicote is out, and he's exploring another part of Danville. Frank?
That I am. I'm up here in the Danville Hills in front of a beautiful home that was built in the late 1800s, and it belonged to a literary giant who won a Pulitzer, in fact 4 of those, a Nobel Prize for his playwriting, and some of his best work was done right here in this Danville home in the late 30s and the late 40s. Who might that be? Well, we're going to tell you much more about that. We're also going to take you on a geography lesson of the town of Danville and the NFL, KTVU, and quarterback from Monta Vista connection. All that, much more coming up as we take to the streets with a little zip trip trivia. Garcia, Andre, back to you.
We seem to be having a lot of Danville NFL connections lately, and we'll get to one a little bit later from now. Frank, Sal, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll check in with you a little bit later.
There's been a lot happening in and around and because of Danville recently, but I always like to take a good long look back at the origin story, if you will, of all these great towns and cities we get to visit on our zip trip. So let's take a look back now, not decades, but centuries, at the town of Danville. In the heart of the San Ramon Valley, Danville traces its history back well before 680 cut its path north and south through the town. Danville provides a small town feel with quaint coffee shops, small businesses, and places to forget about your troubles. Eventually settled and named by Americans brought here by the gold rush, Old Town Danville was originally purchased in 1854. 4 years later, the community had a blacksmith, a hotel, a general store, and in 1860, its first post office. Stories of prosperity spread from California across the country. The lush valley brought farmers to grow apples, plums, pears, walnuts, almonds, and more. A number of original buildings still stand, including the Danville Hotel. That small town feel started to change in the late 1800s with the arrival of the railroad. At that point, people and goods could travel anywhere through the United States with ease. The true turning point came in the 1960s with the construction of 680. When that freeway went in, Danville's population was just above 3,000. By 1970, the population topped 14,000. And today, more than 43,000 people are lucky enough to call Danville home.
Still got that small town feel, even when you come here today, right? All right, so the mayor, Robert Storer, he couldn't be here today because he is at his son's wedding in Brazil.
Aww.
But he did want to appear on Zip Trip, and he wanted to give us a historic look at the town. This is a man that loves this area. He could not stop talking about the history of this area, and this is what he told me when I met with him just a few days ago. Take a look.
When Danville was founded in 1858 by the Einmans, they were founded right here on Front Street.
To say Danville Mayor Robert Storer loves his town would be an understatement. When we met him, he came armed with a binder filled with the history of Danville. It was supposed to guide us along our route, but he hardly needed to reference it. Walking along Front Street, the road where the community first began, we passed what is now the Village Theater. The building dates back to 1874 when it was called the Grange Hall. At the time, it was a social center for the entire San Ramon Valley.
We're walking towards Prospect Street, which I think is one of our cutest streets in Danville.
Just up the road is one of the oldest structures in Danville, built in the 1850s. Long since converted into offices, it was once home to a critical need for any young and growing town, a doctor. The Vecchi House was owned by Dr. Victor Vecchi, the town's first dentist.
He could pull teeth. He could actually do minor surgeries. He was more of a house doctor.
A few dozen feet away at the corner of Front and Prospect is where more lurid activities took place in Danville's early years. This was the Red Light District.
This was a district that lasted for a good number of years until the founding mothers ran the ladies out of town.
These days, though, Prospect is bustling with much less scandalous affair.
You've worked here for a number of years,
yes.
And we have Danville chocolates. And it's incredible how far people drive to come to Danville chocolates.
And across the street, La Conda Ravello, a restaurant so authentic that Mayor Storer immediately turns to his linguistic skills, speaking in Italian to the owners.
Oh, un po' fame stasera.
Storer moved to Danville in 1988, working as planning commissioner before running for mayor and losing his first time. But since then, he's served the town as mayor for 3 different terms. As a man who can rattle off fast facts, you can tell he loves investing into the downtown area.
When you look at this downtown, and we're the envy of a lot of cities in California because we have such a cute downtown.
Storer shows us how the city has worked to preserve old rundown buildings and restore as many as possible to their original splendor.
I think this is a look-see.
That must-see is Elliott's. First opened in 1907, the bar is said to be the oldest business in Danville, passing through only 2 owners over that time. It even survived Prohibition by converting it into an ice cream parlor. Well, sort of, anyway.
Back in the Prohibition days, Elliott's couldn't sell alcohol, so they reinvented themselves, and during Prohibition, they turned it into an ice cream parlor. Except, if you knew the secret word, you could get moonshine.
The mayor could not resist taking us to his favorite hangout spot.
This is where I sort of explore some of my bad habits, or my good habits.
Danville Cigar, Fine Wine, and Gifts, where he's got his own personal stash of cigars tucked away in this locked drawer.
That's what makes this unique is our outdoor patio.
Walking the streets here in downtown Danville, you really get a sense of community here. It was evident, too, when the owners of small businesses saw the mayor, they walked out of their shops to say hi.
Mayor Storer, this rose is for you.
Thank you. This is wonderful. Thank you.
You always keep the downtown blooming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flowers, chocolates,
Yeah.
great food, amazing people.
I don't know if it's because I was just hanging out with the mayor, but it did seem completely authentic. It really was. The people here are really nice. We know that because we've been sitting here and watching just, the folks that live here coming up to say hi.
Right.
It is really like that.
Friendly, welcoming,
Yeah.
warm, wonderful, but there might be a couple of things you don't know about Danville. And now we get to the good part. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I thought it was an easy question, but I totally got it wrong. What cities border the town of Danville? Like you would think, right? I grew up here, I would know. No, I did not know. Are Frank Malico took a Zip Trip trivia on the road. Not in one of these beauties, but still. We're going to see if we can stump you with our trivia on Danville next.
And we'll be drinking now. Ouzo, we gonna lose control. Give me one more shot while the lights are low. Last call, it's time to go.
You are listening to David Land, who is also known as Ouzo. He is a music artist here. He has a current album called Don't Take Candy from a Baby. He began his musical journey in a guitar class when he was in 8th grade, played with a number of different bands in high school. And during that time, he started singing as well. And he is our band performing for us today at our Zip Trip live here in Danville. David Land, Ouzo, joining us this morning.
And of course, he's lucky. I think he could practically walk here, right? I jumped on 680. It's a short hop off the freeway. Yeah. You know Danville. You know 680. We're between the Las Trampas Ridge and the Mount Diablo and the Diablo Range. That came up in Zip Trip trivia because I think I know my Bay Area geography pretty well. But I mean, Frank Malico, with what I thought would be your easiest question, you not only stumped me, but you stumped just about everybody you talk to when you're out and about here in Danville.
Well, I try, but a lot of folks, well, let's just put it this way. They know their town pretty well. We're up here in the Danville Hills, and we did a deep dive into the city of Danville to find out, what's going on here. And we found out there are a lot of heavy hitters that actually either grew up here or did a little work here in Danville, including the man that built this home behind me. This was built in the late 30s and 40s by a gentleman that may have been the best playwright in U.S. history. We're going to tell you who that is, but we're going to start with a bit of a geography lesson as we take to the streets here in Danville to find out what do people really know about their town. Can you name the 3 cities or 3 towns that border Danville?
San Ramon, Alamo.
Good.
And 1 second.
San Ramon.
Yes.
Alamo.
Yes.
Dublin.
No.
No.
Want to keep trying? Keep trying. There's
Alamo,
only so many.
San Ramon.
Third town that borders Danville. Those are the 2 easy ones, right?
Yeah.
San Ramon.
Dublin. What was that?
Dublin?
No.
No?
No. San Ramon kind of got in the way.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't you live in San Ramon?
I do, yeah.
Just
Pardon me,
checking.
I've only had 1 cup of coffee. So.
It's not Pleasanton, is it?
No. That's even further.
I'm thinking the other side of Mount Diablo.
It's pretty. Whoa, what did you say?
The other side of Mount Diablo.
What's the name of the mountain?
Mount Diablo? There's a town named Mount Diablo?
Little City. It's named after a big mountain here.
Oh.
Yeah?
Well, Diablo's not a town.
It is.
It is?
It is.
There's a town called Diablo?
There is a town called Diablo.
I did not know that.
He had a storied career in football here at Monte Vista High School, and now is embarking on an NFL career. Can you name the quarterback? And for extra credit, who is his mother?
Kaepernick, was it?
Colin Kaepernick?
Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
He's from Turlock.
Oh, Turlock, excuse me.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know this kid that you're talking about.
You don't?
No, sorry.
His mother works at Channel 2.
That doesn't help.
Julie.
Julie.
Yeah.
Julie.
Pretty gal.
Very.
Yeah.
And her last name? Starts with an H?
Yes, Julie Hayner.
Hayner.
Yes.
And her son's name is?
Boy Hayner.
Boy Hayner. Yes.
Julie Hayner's the mom.
That is correct.
The son, Brett Hayner, Fresno State, right?
Yeah, well, you got the last name right. And the college, but what's his first name?
He beat UCLA.
Yes.
In a dramatic game a couple years ago.
Jalen Cropper. And Jake Hayner is the natural.
Another Jake the Snake, huh?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
He won a Pulitzer Prize and a Nobel Prize for his literary work and lived here in Danville for a number of years. Can you name the playwright?
Steinbeck?
No, but that era. He was a playwright.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. First thing that comes to mind is Shakespeare, but that's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, old Bill was around a long time ago.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yes. He's got when you go hike up by the Ball Estate, he has...
a house.
A house.
Yes. Who lived in that house?
I know. That's a good question.
I'm sure you read this.
We'll go back to that. Come to the next one.
Oh, really? You're going to pass? I love
It'll
that.
pop in a minute.
No, I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't
Danville,
know?
really?
Danville, yeah.
That's the house that's over
Ding, ding, ding.
here. I'm blanking on the name right now.
The Iceman Cometh.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can even picture him, but
You
I can't.
read it, I know.
I can't think of it right now.
What's his name?
Eugene O'Neill.
Okay, how'd you know that?
Hey, I do read.
Simple as that. Yes, the man that wrote Iceman Cometh and Long Day's Journey in Tonight wrote many of those plays. In fact, those two right here in this Danville home. And you're looking at his study, the window of his study right now. And both those plays were written right here in Danville. We'll have much more coming up on the Eugene O'Neill house and the barn that is, I can see it from here, very special place. And there's some kids in there right now. We'll tell you what they're doing as well. By the way, I kind of teased about a half an hour ago, did Dick Van Dyke really grow up in Danville? And Garcia and Andre, the answer is yes, but it's Danville, Illinois. A little bit of a curveball here on Zip Trip Trivia. Actually, some people really thought.
And I were like, what?
Oh, Dick Van Dyke. Okay, the other Danville.
Yeah, the other Danville.
All right.
Yes,
Great.
the other
You
Danville.
got us good, but yeah. good trivia. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, Sal always is able to sniff out the greatest food in the area. We sent things back over to him. He was in a car earlier, classic car, and now he's in a kitchen. Sal, tell us where you are right now and what you're getting ready to do.
Yeah, I'm inside Forbes Mill Steakhouse in Danville. It's been here for 17 years. It's pretty much known in the area for really good steaks. I'm here with Mark Dumont, who's the general manager and sommelier here. Mark, you're going to help us prepare a steak.
Yes, we're going to take you behind the scenes here and show you the special things that happen here at Forbes Mill Steakhouse.
All right, let's go. So anyway, I really love being behind the scenes at any restaurant, but this is a steakhouse. So as we go back to where the steak is being made, Chip, check out all this food here. This food looks delicious. This is kind of a sample of what you give that. That's a steak and lobster platter with a baked potato. This is pretty much run-of-the-mill. And then you have, looks like tuna. All right. So we're coming back, and we're going to watch the steak prepared. So,
All right, so we got the East Bay here. We're preparing a ribeye. This is an 1800-degree broiler.
all right, the magic of television, they cooked it a little bit beforehand, but look at that. It's an 1800-degree broiler. Tell me what's going on.
So we're going to sear in all those juices with that hot grill, and what that's going to do is allow that flavor to marinate inside the steak, and the heat is going to give it that nice char on the outside, and we're going to adjust the heat so that we can make sure we're cooking the steak properly.
Mark, what is the secret to making a good steak? Now, people at home may not have, all this equipment, but they can still stick to some of the general principles of making good steak. What are those?
Right. One of the most important things is you got to get a good quality of meat from a reputable source like we do here. It's certified Angus beef prime brand. It's a top quality grade of meat, and then you're going to want to throw some seasoning on there, of course. So all we use is salt and pepper. We keep it simple, and then we're going to season that steak on the outside, both sides, throw it on the grill, and we're not going to want to overcook that steak.
And you'll have to let it rest, I know, at the end.
Yes, at the end, you should let it rest for a couple of minutes, and what's that's going to allow it to do is allow the juices to settle in and move back out to the edges.
Exciting news. You guys are opening a new place here in Danville. Tell me about that.
Yes, so we are so excited to announce that soon in July, we're probably going to be opening a place called Tides. It's Tides, Danville. It's going to be a modern oceanic-inspired cuisine seafood place, and we're going to be having that open soon. So I'd like everybody to come out and visit us and stay tuned.
Excellent, Mark. Thank you. So, Garcia and Andre, this steak smells delicious. You can't smell it. It looks good. It has those lines, Andre. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I am ready to eat. I don't care if it is. You know what? I don't care what time it is. I'm ready to eat this steak.
It looks that good. No one's going to blame you. No one's going to blame you. The only thing I'll blame you for is not saving me some. So.
Right. He's gone. He's like, see you later. I'm going to ask you a personal question. How do you like your steak done?
Medium well.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one. No. I know it's frowned upon. I know it's heavily frowned upon.
I almost, when you asked me the question, I'm like,
You're
I'm
like,
going to
should
get a lot
I
of
lie
heck for this.
and just
I
say
was
medium?
almost gonna lie.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it's like we're siblings. Okay,
Yeah.
Phew, me too. I like the crispy ends.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get back to food with the Great Big Taste of the Town segment coming up later on Mornings on 2 during the Zip Trip. But first, we are going to talk with two incredible women who, between them, have 4 incredible sons who are serving in the military. And these moms are giving back because they know other families just starting on this military family journey need a lot of help, a lot of encouragement, and they are there. They are there for the families here in Danville and far beyond. We're going to meet 2 amazing women, 4 incredible sons between them. We'll talk about the way they're serving their community in Danville after a quick break.
Welcome back to Zip Trip in Danville. You're looking live at the Veteran Memorial Building here in Danville. I talked to Amir Robert Storr just a few days ago. He was telling us when this building was refurbished. They had some folks that had been using the building from years ago, and they contributed to helping refurbish the building based on their memories. Oh, nice. It was a fantastic story that he told me. But a very important part of Danville as well, guys.
Yeah, Danville's history, Danville's today, and also Danville's future. Yeah. There were so many families here who have a loved one serving in the military, son or daughter, and those families have banded together. Yeah. Blue Star Moms going very, very strong in Danville, helping each other and helping the entire community. I'm so pleased to be able to introduce you to 2 Blue Star moms here in Danville, Peggy Conklin and Susie Lister. Thank you both for joining us. Between the 2 of you, 4 sons serving in the military, and we'll start with you, Peggy, because you have 3 of your sons, and they all enlisted right away.
Right away after high school.
And
2 of them at 17.
Look at that. Wow. And so what's it like to have that experience? Because one is about to retire from the military.
One is a veteran since 2010, and the other one will retire next year.
And so when you have that experience, how do you help other families a little bit earlier in their journey?
You know, it's a long time ago that my kids were in basic training, but I can remember the letters and making sure that the support was there for them, and then so I turn around and use those memories to help the women that are coming in, and the dads too. Yeah, dads need support too.
So Blue Star Moms, you're part of the organization where you help folks who have lost a loved one in the military. Tell us how your work is contributing to that effort on the national scale as well.
So our chapter here in Danville, you know, we're part of the national chapter, but we also help there's a ceremony, the Marine Memorials building in San Francisco, they put together for the California fallen. So every year there's a ceremony that we invite all the families that have lost someone.
You both had the experience of having your young son come to you and say, Mom, this is what I want to do. And for some parents, that would be like, no, wait, that's not what I hoped for you. Peggy, can you just say a word? You and I have talked over email. Can you say a word about what parents really should want for their children? May not have been the path you would have chosen, but you look at your children now, and what do you think?
Well, you know, my husband and I always thought of the decision to serve the military as a different way of going to school. Yeah. My boys, 2 medics and a communications, they said they studied and spent more time learning about something when they went into the Army to learn their military job than they ever did in any school that they went into. Part of the reason is because they were interested in learning about that. And so I think we need to encourage the kids if they want to go, but do a lot of research. Treat it as if they were going to a college, just like you would research that, you research what you want to do in the military.
And Susie, finally, what do you say to parents who are getting those first words from their child, real quick?
I think you need to support them and know that this is their mission and what they want to do, and they will be super successful and make you very proud.
Yeah. Blue Star Moms of Danville, you guys are representing. Thank you both for your sacrifice in allowing your sons to serve our country. Please give them a big hug if they still let you do that. When they come home.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Peggy and Susie, for joining us this morning.
Ladies, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, coming up next, a business that's been around here in Danville for decades now. We're talking about Danville Bikes, and they've done a lot to contribute to the local community, not just sell bikes, not just the business as well. The things that they do with the local high school here, just impressive. And we're going to talk to them coming up right after this break as our Zip Trip here in Danville continues. Right after this, we'll leave you with a live look here. Sal over at the Steakhouse, checking out the awesome food there. That lobster looks great.
Look at that.
Why don't you head on down to my watering hole? Meet me for a shot KTVU, they got tequila, whiskey and beer. Yeah, they got
Danville musician Dave Land. Friends call him Uzo, a little mix of Willie Nelson, the Rolling Stones, Toby Keith, and the Everly Brothers. He picked up a guitar in 8th grade and he hasn't put it down. I love the name of his latest album release, Don't Take Candy from a Cowboy. That was last year. He's got more music coming. We are so glad that he's here serenading us. This zip trip to Danville has been a blast, and we are not even halfway through. We're going to focus on some of the amazing places to eat in just a second, but I'd like to throw out a little stat that I found that to me says a lot about this town. The Danville Library is one of the most active branches in all of the Contra Costa County library system. Says a little something. Says a little something. I like that.
That is interesting.
Yes.
I think folks here still like to go to the library.
I love a good library.
Yeah, and libraries offer so much more than they did when we were going up.
Yes,
to
it's
the
not
libraries,
just
don't they?
not just books.
Not just books.
It's computers, it's programs,
Yeah.
it's like little sing-along baby reading time, which I used to go to. Yeah, they're a
Completely
gem.
different. I can see why. All right, Sal Castaneda, he's doing Taste of the Town. He was over at Forbes Mill earlier at the restaurant where they were cooking up some beautiful-looking steak. They had lobster there as well. Sal, it looks like you are ready to eat right now, but you also have a look at some of the other areas across Danville that offer some great eateries too.
That's exactly right, Andre. So this is a fancy place. It's Forbes Mill Steakhouse. It's really fancy, and I would come here for a special meal. And they have wine, they have a sommelier here. They'll hook you up if you want a fancy steak, you want a fancy meal, steak and lobster. However, if you want to have more of a casual meal, there are plenty of places in Danville too. For that, let's check it out.
Danville has a lot of places to eat packed into a relatively small town. Breweries, upscale eateries, and tasty hole-in-the-walls.
There are restaurants everywhere. In fact, we've had more open since the pandemic, and we're actually going to be opening a vegan restaurant just 1 block down the street here. I'm very looking forward to that.
With so many choices, I first went to a pub that's been thriving since 1987. It's Pete's Brass Rail and Car Wash. First, let's get one thing out of the way.
There is no Pete, there is no car wash, and there is no brass rail.
The original owner thought it was a funny name, and customers asked so much about it, the staff wears t-shirts explaining it. The food, the taps, and the atmosphere is why you should come here.
Todd Burger. It is a burger. It has all my favorites. It's on sliced sourdough. It has pepper jack cheese, avocado, bacon. Get it with the curly fries. It's a bomb.
And it tastes just as good as it sounds. Crunchy bread, crispy curly fries. Overall good quality ingredients. It's perfect for a lunch with an ice-cold beverage and friends. While eating, you can gaze at the wall adorned with the names of people in the beer club and some elaborate colored placemats of the fictitious Pete character. When the old owner wanted to retire, Jill Rebejo, who still works here, knew she had to buy the place to keep all of this from going away.
Well, it's a really fun place to work, and I was afraid it might go away. There was other offers coming in, and I had to step on the ball and find a partner and make sure it stayed.
Good thing too, because this place is an institution. If you'd like Italian food in a beautiful atmosphere, look no further than Locanda Ravello. The owners are a family from Italy, and the atmosphere is welcoming, bright, and fun.
It's fantastic. It really feels like you're in Italy when you're here.
It really does. I started by trying a cocktail, the Aperol Spritz.
I approve.
The food is exactly what you'd want for an Italian restaurant. Let's dive in. The meatballs and the sauce are rich and flavorful, and it's a family recipe.
House-made recipe from my grandmother Carmela.
The lasagna is so good I'd come back here just for that. But the star of the show is a Neapolitan-style pizza that comes out of a wood-fired oven. It's thin and the crust is so flavorful on its own.
In Napoli. Buon appetito. Buon appetito.
Enzo Rosano says the success of Locanda Ravello is the way they make you feel when you come to this family restaurant.
When they come to our Locanda, they know that there is my family, there's a friendly people, they can get good food, reasonable price. I think when you combine all those little things, that's the secret of success.
And finally, you need to come to Norm's on Harts Avenue and order the fries. Get this, these spuds are not frozen. They're actually made from real potatoes on site. To make good fries, you have to have the right ingredients and techniques, and Norm's has it down. But the reason I'd come to Norm's is to watch football with the locals.
We have a regular following here. We're a town place. I grew up here, and our Sunday football crowd for sure is very regular. Everybody kind of jockeys for their own seats, and then we put different games on all the way around. I think we have 21 TVs total between the patio and inside, but yeah, people have their favorite spots for sure.
Justin, you're speaking my love language.
I get it. It's mine too, Sal. I make a lot of money on those sports.
Gassia, Gassia and Andre, and Gassia, I have to push back a little bit. You both said you like your steak medium well. Well, a lot of people were yelling at their TV screens, I like my steak medium rare. That's the way, in my opinion, a steak should be had. Look at this great food. So this steak is delicious. Yeah. Okay, I know. You like your steak the way you like your steak. I like it medium rare. We all have differences, but one thing, Gassia, is if you come to Danville, there's something for everyone. There's good Mexican food. There's Primo's, the pizza place, all kinds of stuff that I couldn't get to, but I know is around. So, if you come, you're not going to leave hungry.
The power okay?
No, I'm sure. And it's funny because Andre and I talked about that. We both were like, should we say medium well? But we're so comfortable with you and each other and everybody who watches Mornings on 2. We're like, that's cool, medium well. And proud. All right, Sal, thank you so much. Let's switch directions and work off some of that butter we just had on that steak. Biking is an amazing hobby, and it's one way a lot of people here in Danville and beyond get around thanks to Danville Bike. We have the head of Danville Bike here, Jose Gutierrez, joining us. Thank you so much for being here. You and your wife have been in this community for a long time.
35 years. We've been owned Danville Bike.
Got it. And you must have seen an explosion during the pandemic.
When the bikes were in, where it's just road bikes, mountain bikes came in 1985, and then it kind of just accelerated from there. Yeah. And now we got electric bikes, we have kids' bikes, and all the bikes for all the communities.
Speaking of electric bikes, Andre Sr. is on one. Is this your first time on an e-bike, Andre? Okay, first time. How you feel? Okay, he's saying it's very limber. It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to take it easy because I don't have a helmet. So
yeah. Good.
This parking lot here, but it is a unique experience, and some of those hard areas where you wouldn't want to climb. We had Bill Martin say he goes up Mount Diablo. I would probably try it with a bike like this for sure. Yeah, it gives you that little extra oomph to give it a shot.
My husband calls it the hand of God.
Is that what he says?
Tell me about, we don't have one. I've got mountain bikers and road bikers and BMXers in my house, but I see more and more of these e-bikes. What do you want people to know before they jump into something like this, Jose?
So when they buy an e-bike from a bike shop or anybody else, I want them to know that the classes of bikes. There's class 1s, 2s, and 3s. Class 1s are going to be your bikes that go 20 miles an hour. Class 3s are going to be an accelerated bike with a throttle. And then class 3 is going to be a commuter bike. So you basically, when you buy a bike like this bike is for all around. You can ride it everywhere. There's no restrictions. All class 1 bikes are 20 miles an hour, and you can go anywhere you want with them.
Can I ask you, is there anything better than a child's first bike?
Absolutely not. You always have a smile when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
also nice.
Well, Jose, I have to say, you guys have been doing you guys sponsor sports teams. You do so much in the community. Sure. So I appreciate that people are making the choice to buy from their local bike shop because we know options are everywhere. What do you say to anyone who's not on 2 wheels yet?
I say, hey, come down to Danville Bike and we'll set you up and get you rolling. Thank you.
Awesome. Jose Gutierrez. All right, we need to get Andre off that bike because you're making me nervous without a helmet.
I'm taking it slow.
Okay, he's taking it slow. He's a natural. He's a natural. All right, we're going to take a quick break. He'll keep riding that e-bike for a second. And then when we come back, a story of an incredible young man. We were lucky enough to watch him grow up thanks to his connection to KTVU. You probably know his name. We hope he's at the very beginning of a long, successful NFL career, and he's right here from Danville. So stay with us in this gorgeous town. We'll be back.
As we've learned today, Gassi, a lot of important people and a lot of well-known people have come out of Danville, and we now have a new person that is going to be joining that list of people who are going to be on the list of very well-known people out of Danville. So let's take a look. Claudine Wong has that story for you.
With the 127th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints have selected Jake Haener, quarterback, Fresno State.
The pick and the call. The moment where a dream became reality. And somehow it feels like Jake Haener was always meant to be a part of the New Orleans Saints.
I was 9, and I know people probably think it's weird, but I always wore a Drew Brees jersey. I was always telling people that my favorite team was the Saints, and It's just so unbelievable getting a call from them and being the 127th pick in the NFL draft, and a lot of it doesn't feel real. But at the same time, I'm super fortunate and surrounded with a bunch of really good people, and I'm humbled to be in this situation. I just want to thank, like I said, my friends and family for always supporting me, the Bay Area for being a great support system, and really a great place to grow up.
Hainer grew up in Danville and found success at Monte Vista High School, but he will tell you that since the beginning, there have always been the doubters. The 6-foot senior told the San Francisco Chronicle back in 2016 that the height thing has been on me since I was 9. It's helped push me and force me to play with a chip on my shoulder. From high school, he headed to the University of Washington, his mother and grandfather's alma mater. But Washington would prove to be an uphill climb, with scattered minutes on the field and a high-profile and disappointing loss against Cal. He decided to make a move, telling the Seattle Times, "A lot of people probably think of that game as my defining moment. But you've got to let that go. People have to make mistakes. You've got to go through it, and you've got to understand the situations and everything and put it in perspective a little bit." Perspective and perseverance brought him to Fresno State in 2019, and then in 2021, in what has been called his breakout campaign, he turned another page in the story of Jake Hainer.
He's got a lot of space on the outside right. Hainer to the end zone. Touchdown, Fresno State! And Jake Hainer is the natural.
I think 2021 UCLA, things kind of really started to take a turn for the better for our program and for myself. I think that was the moment that people really kind of understood that I could play at this level.
It would be a journey of incredible highs and some heartbreaking lows, like last year in this game against USC.
Had to be carted off, which was just so deflating.
But he would come back from what people said would be a 10 to 12 week injury.
You come back in 5 weeks and you lead the team out there on Saturday night. It just felt good.
Hainer would lead Fresno State to its first Mountain West championship since 2018, and then he continued to impress.
Play fake, Jake Hainer, take a shot. Inside the 5, and that's a Michael Wilson touchdown.
As MVP in the Senior Bowl.
We found a way to win, and it was fun.
And then in the Combine.
For me, it's just a testament to my family and friends around me that have always supported me and always been in my corner to help me through the hard times. And I think the hard times have made me who I am. It's allowed me to learn and continue to progress as a young man and as a quarterback. And you work for these moments and you work for these opportunities, and I'm super fortunate to be a part of it now.
And so it was only fitting that he was at home in Danville, where it all started, with those who have been there on the journey when he got that call.
This is probably one of the last few times we get to all have friends and family here with the family at 1669, the place I grew up, and I got to experience a lot of great childhood memories. So it's special, it's emotional, but I'm super glad to have this opportunity.
It's an opportunity to tell his story.
I love being a great role model for young kids, and I try to hold myself to a high standard, and I try to do everything I can to show them what it's like and what kids can do if they just put their foot down and do what they do. But one thing I do want to mention is to all those kids that people say you're too short, you're too slow, you're not big enough, not strong enough to do some of the things that I've done up to this point in my career, prove all of them wrong.
A chance to show everyone else that they can write their own. In Danville, Claudine Wong, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
I love it. Of course, Jake Hainer's mom is longtime KTVU News anchor Julie Hainer. I had the pleasure of watching him grow up through the pictures she showed me on her iPhone. So congratulations to Jake.
I remember at the station some of the folks who remember when she was pregnant with Jake.
Right,
And it's just funny to hear those stories and about them seeing where he is now. So it's awesome to see that.
We wish him and his whole family all the very best. Incredible. All right, let's focus on another big name who's a little bit from the past, but you maybe remember like from your literature classes when you were in high school and college, Eugene O'Neill. A lot of people know Eugene O'Neill, Frank Malicote. Maybe they have or have not been to the house there. There's a lot of history that we could use to sort of build up the few things we do know about Eugene O'Neill. Of course, Pulitzer, Nobel Prize, but there's a whole lot more to the man.
Oh, absolutely. And what a prize jewel. I had no idea that his house was here. I had no idea that Eugene O'Neill actually lived in Danville, but that he did. His home's behind us back in the 30s and 40s. Hillary Grabowska is a park ranger here. Give us a little snippet about Eugene O'Neill and his breadth of work.
Sure. So as you mentioned earlier, Eugene O'Neill was an American playwright. He's the only American playwright to have won the Nobel Prize for Literature. He did win 4 Pulitzers, one of which was posthumous, for a play that he wrote right here. He is considered to be the father of American drama because he really changed American theater from the theater world that his father was in, who was an actor, and the theater world that we kind of know today.
And some of his best work was done in Danville. Why Danville? How did he end up here?
Yeah, so he was looking for a nice isolated place where he could just focus on writing, and he got exactly that up here. You know, at the time, the Caldecott Tunnel had just been built. You didn't have interstate highways or anything like that, and so you couldn't just drop in on him, and that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be isolated so he could just focus on writing.
And is this Danville's best kept secret? Because I had no clue it was up here.
Probably, and you know, to be honest, O'Neill would have liked that. He had gates. You couldn't just drop in, and today it's also still difficult to get up here because of the location of the site.
All right, Hillary, he had a kind of an eclectic wife, too. And this building over here, tell us what that was all about.
Sure. So his wife, Carlotta Monterey, was originally from Oakland, and she reinvented herself. Her birth name was Hazel Thursing. She was a very classy lady. She had her clothes made in Europe. And then this building was built to house her 18 Louis Vuitton trunks and 300 pairs of shoes.
300 pairs of shoes?
Yeah.
All right. And what's in there now?
Today, we and the Eugene O'Neill Foundation host artists in residence, and so that's often their creative workspace when they come up here to take in the beautiful location and get that same inspiration that Eugene O'Neill got up here.
All right, Hillary, well said. Thank you so much. By the way, we have a bit of a twofer for you, so follow me along. We're going to leave the gates and come out and say hi to Eric Hayes, who's the artistic director for the foundation here. Eric, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. There is a barn over there, and there's a little bit of noise coming out of that barn. Tell us what that barn's all about and what you do here.
Yeah, that's Eugene O'Neill's barn, and every fall we produce Eugene O'Neill's plays in this barn. It's actually a theater, and currently the noise is a group of high schoolers who are here for a summer camp where they're studying acting and playwriting and going to have a performance this weekend.
What is it like to direct a play by one of the best playwrights in a barn that was on his property?
It's really special. I feel a real connection to the work. I mean, he wrote the plays just up in the house, and then just a few hundred feet away, we actually have the place. I guess something special about that is whenever we do a night performance, we have 2 lights. We leave the light of the study on as if he's working, burning the midnight oil,
so cool,
and the light of the show going on at the same time, so you feel like his presence.
And if people want to come see a show, how do they do it?
They go to eugeneo'neill.org, which is the Eugene O'Neill Foundation's website, and we have all our information there.
That's great. And how many plays have you directed?
This will be my 31st of O'Neill's plays. He wrote 51, so I'm more than halfway there.
Yes, you are, and a native son of Danville, I might add,
I grew up here, yes, thank you.
Used to run cross country and would run these hills, and look what you're doing now. Eric, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, well, there you go. Just a bit of history, rich history here in the town of Danville, and I highly recommend coming up, not only for the museum, but they get a view of Mount Diablo that is out of this world. We'll send it back to you.
Wow, that is absolutely right. Frank Malacote, thank you so much for the insight into that. Of course, Mount Diablo, you can see from all over this area. It is a stunning view to have in your backyard, right? Isn't it? Yeah, so close. All right, coming up, we have much more to come. Olive oil.
I'm so excited for this segment.
I'm usually excited for this excitement, right? I don't know why that is, but I've been wanting to hear from the folks. We're going to be talking with some folks that own an olive oil business right next door to where we are right now. We're going to have much more from them after the break, and I've got some questions for them, and I know Gassi does too. We'll be right back on our zip trip to Danville.
A life-size picture of the king in back. I'm a good old too cool all-American, red-blooded hot dog, apple pie, rock and roll cowboy.
We want to give a big thank you to David Land, who's also known as Ozo. He's got an album out now called Don't Take Candy from a Cowboy, and he's got a current project that's in the works right now called The Next Adventure. We want to thank him for coming out today. We want to thank all the folks who came out today to join us. Hey, everybody, to join us here on our zip trips here in Danville, in downtown Danville, in front of the old downtown, the Danville Hotel here in downtown. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome back to Mornings on to the 9, the special Zip Trips edition.
And we are not done with Danville
No,
yet.
we're not.
We've had steak, we've had lobster.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about a very important element in your cooking, olive oil.
Yeah.
You can't just go to the grocery store and buy whatever's on sale like I used to.
Now you tell me.
Once your eyes are open to what's out there and what's right here, you're going to cook and eat in a whole new way. We welcome Nate Bradley, the owner of Amphora Nueva here in Danville. You've got a couple shops around the bay. You specialize in olive oil, and it's about single origin. I mean, this is like the good stuff, and there is a difference.
Absolutely. Harvest date, single origin, single farm. Look at the chemistry of your olive oil before you buy it. Obviously, it's hard to find that when you're shopping around.
Yeah.
We put all of that on every tank in our store.
I love it. And we're about to taste some. Have you gotten into olive oil?
No, I've been fascinated by it, and someone that's been telling me to eat better has been telling me you got to try better olive oil, not the stuff that you get in the store, which is what I usually get, because I just go to the store and I pull it off the shelf.
Sure.
But it's been interesting to me because they said you can also use it to make salad dressing, and I'm curious to know, how do you know which one to choose for the salad dressing, and do they all taste the same, or is there a variation of it? How does that work?
We have about 50 oils and vinegars on tap, so we encourage you to taste before you buy. We're going to make you a combination of oil and vinegar so you can taste it and try to envision that on a salad. Everyone that works at our stores makes salads at home, so they're happy to help you. Give us your ingredients, we'll recommend something. And we have a few today that we're going to try that are excellent on salads, spritzers, all that.
And when you said a spritzer, which I think is what we're about to taste, I've never thought of drinking olive oil.
Yes. Right, so these are our white balsamic spritzers. So we have about 25.
Try one?
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking. Here,
25 balsamic vinegars on tap.
Okay, this is a balsamic vinegar.
Yeah.
Do I sip it? Do you chug it? Cheers
Just
to
take
you,
a little
Danville.
sip.
Okay.
So this is a pomegranate quince white balsamic vinegar
nice.
that we added to sparkling water. So people,
That's
it's
it.
like a mocktail.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
You can
like
add
it. I would've
alcohol
never
to that
thought.
if you wanted to. Low sugar, really good for your gut, your digestion.
And which olive oil was it?
This is actually an aged pomegranate quince white balsamic vinegar. So we have about we have about 25 balsamics that people are making mocktails and cocktails with now. Elderflower, honey ginger,
And
you
real
name
quick,
it.
you put this on fruit salad as well. In
Yeah.
just a few seconds
So we have
left.
we have a fruit salad that we're doing, actually our brand new lychee white balsamic vinegar with a lemon olive oil. So Jamie's going to demo this on a fruit salad for you. Just beautiful, bright flavors. This would be good on any salad, arugula, kale, anything like that. And so it just adds a nice punch to your fruit
All right,
salad.
that's summer in a cup. Hand one of those over.
Yeah.
Andre, I know that we're...
While Gossi tastes this, I want to let you know that in 2 weeks from today, hang on to that for just a second, I'm going to chit-chat. I want to let everyone know that we're going to be in another city for Zip Trip. We're going to be in Redwood City down in that area. Looking forward to that. That is on July 7th, 2 weeks from this Friday. In the meantime, I'm going to try some of...
This is so beautiful.
This looks, I mean, it just looks great.
Amphora Nueva. Let me just take a bite.
So that's a lemon olive oil with a lychee balsamic fruit salad.
This is really good.
Sweet and tart, and
Yeah.
I'm actually going to finish this off camera. We brought the band out for this today, man. I have to tell you, Frank and Sal, you guys thought you had the best assignments, but I think we're in a three-way tie.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, usually you guys have great assignments, but today, this time, the crowd came out, the community came out for us here as well. It was a really fantastic time, right, guys? Look, Sal's having a great time.
I think Sal's going to drive away.
Yeah,
Sal's ready to go. All right. Thanks, you guys. You opened our eyes to Danville.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought we knew a lot, but it turns out there was a lot more to know and love about Danville. So I think as the sun keeps coming out, we're going to stay here on Hearts Ave. We've got a great crowd behind us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danville,
Thank you.
for
Thank you,
coming
everybody.
out.
Yeah.
People got their coffee
Yeah.
and their dogs going. This has been a great
Yeah.
Zip Trip. We'll do it again in 2 weeks in Redwood City before. We're going to stay here and spend the day.
Yeah.
You should come on down as well. We appreciate everybody coming out.
We got a live look right now as we head out. And everyone waves goodbye. Nate, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing the beauties of olive oil and, and what to look out for with olive oil. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we also like to thank the folks over at Danville Bikes Jose as well. Take care, everyone.